Have you ever landed after a 12-hour flight so tired you feel like you could fall asleep standing up? For seniors, one misheard word can turn a routine entry into, "Sir, ma'am, step to the side." And it's usually not because you did something wrong. It's because you misheard or answered too vaguely while you're tired under bright lights, noise, and pressure. So, in this video, I'll break down the 13 most common immigration and customs questions and what they're really testing so you can answer clean, confident, and consistent, even on low sleep. Quick reset, because people mix these up all the time. Immigration is about you, your passport, your visa, purpose, length of stay. Customs is about what you're bringing in. That's it. And yes, some places run this on hard mode. In the US and across Europe, officers can get more detailed and specific, but the logic is the same everywhere. They're checking if your answers match your documents and make sense. And don't skip question 9. This is where a lot of older travelers get tripped up simply because of everyday medical stuff, prescription bottles, insulin supplies, a CPAP, hearing aids, and all of that. But if you handle it the wrong way at the counter, it can turn into extra questions fast. Alright, let's start with the first line that quietly begins the whole interview. This first question gets ignored all the time because it sounds harmless, but if you handle it poorly, the whole interview can tilt in the wrong direction. When the officer looks up and says, "Can I see your passport?" They're reading the 2 seconds after the request. Do you freeze, fumble, or hand it over like it's routine? For older flyers, tiny things can send a bigger signal than you mean. Stiff fingers, a zipper that won't cooperate, cane in one hand while your roller tries to escape. Here's the fix that saves you stress before it starts. About 5 to 10 minutes before you reach the front, get your passport out, open it to the photo page, and hold it where you can hand it over in one clean motion. No digging, no fumbling, no zipper wrestling at the counter. If you're the type who worries about dropping it, use a neck pouch or a small cross body with a zipper that stays on your chest. That tiny prep move settles your nerves and keeps your hands steady because you're not doing 5 things at once. When they ask, you don't need extra talk. A simple sure and a clean handoff. Calm, steady, one motion. That tiny moment sets the pace for everything that comes next. And the next question is the sneaky one. It sounds like small talk, but it's a consistency test. Right after you hand over your passport, they'll usually hit you with this one. Where are you flying in from? And it sounds like small talk until you answer it like you're giving your life story. They're checking consistency. Your route should match what they already see on their screen. A clean route sounds normal. A messy wandering route makes them curious. This is where jet lag messes with a lot of older travelers. Your brain is still on airplane time. So, your answer starts time traveling. Well, I was in Bangkok for a bit. Then I visited my friend in Munich. And before that, and now you're trying to rebuild your whole trip out loud while a line forms behind you. The smooth version is one sentence with a structure. Start point plus main connection. I flew in from Chicago connecting through Frankfurt. That's enough. You're not there to narrate your vacation. Just to give a route that makes sense. And if you're not sure what they mean, last stop or where you started. Don't guess and don't ramble. Take a beat. Glance at your boarding pass or trip sheet and answer calmly. That looks a lot better than filling the silence with confusion. Nail this one and you'll usually hear the next question immediately, and it's the one that decides whether this stays quick or turns into extra follow-ups. How long you're staying. If there's one line that can turn a simple stamp into a longer interrogation, it's this one. How long are you staying? To you, it's just a number. To them, it signals whether you have a plan. Seniors, travelers get tripped up here for a very normal reason: family trips. Let me tell you about my aunt. She flew into London to help her daughter with the grandkids. When the officer asked how long she'd be staying, she answered, "I'm not really sure. Depends how my daughter needs me." That one word turned into extra follow-ups. For a senior, extra minutes at the counter isn't just annoying. It's more stress, and your brain gets even foggier. So, how do you avoid that? This simple trick can save you from the same situation. Give a number plus a simple reason. 14 days to visit family, 10 days for vacation. And what if you're visiting more than one place? Keep it tight. 10 days total, 4 in Rome, 6 in Florence. Skip the soft add-ons. No, we'll see. No, unless I extend those invite follow-ups. Now, I've got a senior-friendly prep tip for you. Put your return date offline on your phone or on a one-page trip sheet in big print. Think of it as a cheat sheet your jet-lag brain is allowed to use. The faster you can answer, the calmer you sound. Once they hear your timeline, the next thing they'll test is why you're here at all. And that one can get surprisingly sensitive if your wording is sloppy. You get through how long are you staying? And then comes the mood shifter. What's the purpose of your trip? Here's how people accidentally make this harder than it needs to be. I'm here to see my family, do a little sightseeing, help my daughter with the kids, and I might have a doctor appointment, too. That's a totally normal human answer. And it also sounds like 5 different trip types at once. But the truth is, they're not asking for your full itinerary. They're trying to file you into one clean box that matches your visa. Family visit, tourism, business, medical. Pick the one that actually applies and lead with that. The smoother move is to give one headline that matches your paperwork. I'm here to visit family. I'm joining a cruise out of Miami. Short, specific, easy to process. And that's not all. Because there are 2 wording traps. A lot of folks over 60. First is the word help. I'm here to help my daughter with the kids is sweet. But at a board or desk, help can start sounding like work. A safer version is I'm visiting my daughter and grandchildren for 2 weeks. Medicine is the other trap. If you say, I'm here for treatment, expect more questions and have documents that match. If it's mainly a family visit and you just have a routine appointment, lead with the main purpose that matches your entry. Treat this question as a quick reality check. When your words line up with your paperwork, things usually flow straight to the next step where officers turn their attention from your trip to your background. What do you do for work? Most people hear this and think, why are we talking about my job right now? But here's why it matters. One clumsy answer can turn a smooth arrival into a longer conversation, right? When you're exhausted and just want to sit down, they're not interviewing you for a position. They're checking 2 practical things. Can you afford this trip? And do you sound like you have a life to return to back home? Give them a clean label and stop. I'm a teacher. I work in marketing. 1 sentence. Retired. This is your secret weapon. I'm retired. That's it. For a lot of senior travelers, that simple answer plus a return ticket is like a green light. Low risk, low drama. If you're semi-retired or you do part-time consulting, I'm semi-retired. I do some consulting back home. And please don't give them the whole resume. Nobody at the border needs the I consult for Google and then on Tuesdays I speech. They truly do not care. Sometimes they'll tack on, do you have enough funds for your stay? You don't need to prove anything unless they ask, but it helps to have a card or booking you can pull up quickly. What's the most annoying simple question you've been asked at immigration? Tell me in the comments. Picture this. You fly in by yourself, but your daughter is waiting to pick you up outside at immigration, and they ask, who are you traveling with? What do you say without making it sound confusing? What they want is clarity. Who's connected to your trip right now? And does your answer match what they're seeing in their system? So, give them the most straightforward version of your situation. If you're alone on this trip, yes, today I'm traveling alone. Full stop. Say it like it's normal because it is. If you flew solo, but someone's meeting you. I traveled alone, but my daughter is picking me up outside. That sentence clears it up instantly. No confusion, no over-explaining. If you're with family, but they're not next to you. I'm traveling with my husband. He's right behind me. Or, I'm with my son and my 2 grandkids. Relationship plus location. Done. And one practical thing that helps a lot when you're tired or you don't hear every word clearly, have the pickup name, phone number, and address written down on your trip sheet. If they ask, you can answer smoothly without fumbling through your phone with your glasses halfway down your nose. Because the next question is where a lot of completely normal visitors accidentally make themselves look like potential long-term immigrants without even realizing it. Do you have any family here? Is one of those questions that instantly messes with your head because you want to be honest, but you also don't want to accidentally sound like you're moving in. They're listening for one thing. Does your visit still sound clearly temporary? Having relatives here isn't a problem. Sounding open-ended is. If the answer is no, say no, I don't. And stop. No extra commentary. No awkward explaining. If the answer is yes, aim for real, but brief. Who, where, and how long, then close it. Yes, my daughter lives in Toronto. I'm visiting for 2 weeks, then I fly home on the 18th. Or my sister lives in San Diego. I'm staying with her for 10 days. That's the winning combo. A person, a place, and an end date. That's exactly what keeps this from turning into a longer conversation. And if you're there for a specific event, like a grandchild's graduation, a wedding, that actually helps. It makes your trip sound structured. Yes, I'm here for my granddaughter's graduation, and I'm leaving next Friday. The main thing to avoid is turning it into a family newsletter. Don't list every relative and never add, "We'll see how long I stay." Answer it in one clear line with an end date, and the tone usually stays relaxed because after this they often check your history with the country. You're standing at the desk almost through the checklist and then comes, "Have you been here before?" A lot of older travelers have that little moment of panic. Was it 2018 or 2019? Was that the wedding trip or the work trip? And the more you try to remember the exact year, the more tense you can look. In reality, they can often already see your travel history, entries, exits, old visas. What they care about is whether your answer roughly matches that record, not whether you can name the year perfectly. If this is your first time, no, this is my first time here. Been before, you still don't need laser-accurate dates. Yes, about 2 years ago, or yes, I came once on a tour. And if your mind genuinely blanks, don't guess and accidentally pick the wrong year. Say it normally. Yes, I've been here before, but I don't remember the exact year. It was a few years back. That sounds honest and it usually lines up with what they already see. The one thing that tends to backfire is turning this into a travel autobiography. The more details you add, the easier it is to contradict a stamp you forgot existed. Up to now, it can feel casual, but the next question is where tired travelers really start slipping up with one careless no. By this point, most people are in full, "Please let me out of here" mode. You hear, "Do you have anything to declare?" And you blurt out, "No," on reflex because your brain is already halfway to baggage claim. Older travelers get snagged here for a simple reason. You're more likely to have everyday items that look worth a question at a border desk. And yes, I'm talking about the innocent things that suddenly look mysterious under bright airport lights, like a hearing aid case or a CPAP battery pack. To you, it's medical. To an officer who sees it after you already said no, it can turn into, "What is this?" And now you're explaining gadgets while your knees are begging for a chair. Here's the little move that keeps this smooth. Don't answer like a robot. Give yourself 2 seconds and do a quick mental scan. Any meds or medical gear, any food, any big cash, any brand new expensive purchase. 2 seconds now can save you 10 minutes later. If you've got prescription meds, make it easy to understand at a glance. Keep them in the original labeled containers when you can, and have a photo or copy of the prescription handy. Generic names help if anyone asks. Traveling with insulin or injectables. A quick doctor's note can save you from awkward explanations when you're tired and not in the mood to play 20 questions. But wait, what if you're flying internationally? Some medications that are normal at home can be restricted or even illegal somewhere else, including during a layover. If you're carrying anything strong, sleep meds, pain meds, controlled prescriptions, treat that like something you check ahead of time, not something you gamble on at a random checkpoint. So, what do you actually say at the counter without turning it into a speech? A calm question keeps you in the cooperative traveler lane. "I have prescription medication for personal use and a few sealed snacks. Do those need to be declared?" That one sentence sounds organized, honest, and it prevents the worst-case scenario, saying no and then having something found. And once you get past this, they switch from "What are you carrying?" to "Okay, where are you going with it?" Which is why the next question can feel very direct. "Where are you staying tonight?" This one turns into a tiny pop quiz, especially when you're visiting family because you can remember your grandkid's favorite snack and exactly how to fold the stroller. But the moment someone in uniform asks, "Where will you be staying?" your brain suddenly goes, my daughter's house. Somewhere in that suburb. That's why they ask it. They want an anchor somewhere real that makes your trip sound organized instead of improvised. Don't worry if you answer it clean, you're through. So, give them one clean answer they can picture. If it's a hotel, name it. Staying with family, say who in the city. And let them know you can show the address if needed. I'm staying with my daughter in Toronto. I have the address right here. And what if your trip is a little complicated? Don't narrate the whole plan. Start with night 1. Tonight I'm at the Marriott near the port. Then I'm on a cruise out of Miami. That's enough. Do that. And this question usually takes 5 seconds. You come across prepared and you're through fast. Here's the small detail that makes a big difference for seniors. Have the address and phone number written down in large print. Because airports are loud, officers speak fast, and nobody wants to watch you squint at tiny text, scroll the wrong screen 3 times, and go, "Sorry, can you repeat that right at the counter?" Have you ever been asked this and blanked in the moment? What did you do? Phone screenshot, paper note, or pure memory? Tell me in the comments. This request often comes right after you've answered a few questions and then the officer says, "Can I see your itinerary?" Or, "Do you have your hotel details?" A lot of travelers over 60 hear that and think, "Did I mess up?" Maybe, but usually they're just doing a quick match check. Does what you're saying line up with what you booked? And I've watched older travelers at the counter digging through their email, squinting at the screen, and of course, airport Wi-Fi picks that exact moment to quit. Meanwhile, the officer is waiting, and the line behind is stacking up. Want to avoid that awkward scene? It's simple. Just prep a little before you fly. First, take screenshots of your hotel or Airbnb confirmation, your return or onward ticket, and any tour or cruise booking. Then save them in one folder on your phone so you can pull them up without the internet. If you like paper, print a one-page trip sheet in big print with the basics, where you're staying, the address, and your departure date. Phone or paper is fine as long as you can show it in a few seconds. Then when they ask, don't explain more. Just do one smooth move, open the folder, hold up the screen, and say, "Sure, here it is." Then let them read and wait for the nod. Get that habit in place now because the next question is where officers stop asking about where you're sleeping and start asking whether you're actually leaving. When the officer asks, "Can I see your return or onward ticket?" they're basically asking for one thing, proof this trip has an exit. For most short trips with a round-trip ticket, this is easy. Your flight home is already booked. The date sits safely inside your allowed stay and it matches what you've been saying at the counter. You pull it up. They see the exit, and you keep moving. Now, let's talk about the trickier version that older flyers run into all the time. You're visiting your kids, and because you're allowed to stay for a long time, you genuinely haven't locked in the exact return date yet. In your head, "I'm not sure yet" sounds flexible. At the border, it can sound unfinished, and that's when the questions get more detailed. So, what's the safe move if you haven't picked the perfect date? Give yourself a real exit date on paper. Book a real ticket that you can change or refund, and choose a departure date that sits comfortably inside the time you're allowed to stay. Some airlines and reputable booking sites also offer hold or price lock options. Again, the key is it needs to be real and checkable. One quick note so this doesn't get misunderstood. This isn't about trying to dodge the rules. It's about having legitimate, checkable proof on hand so you can answer cleanly and walk through with confidence. If you're not sure what the safest option is for your specific trip style, drop a comment. I'll help you think it through. And if you think that's the last hurdle, some countries still have one more. They want to know whether you've prepared for the worst-case scenario. Do you have travel insurance? Doesn't show up on every trip. But if a country asks this, it's not to be nosy because they don't want you to become a medical problem with no plan, especially when you're over 60 and even a small thing can turn into a doctor visit. And a lot of seniors roll their eyes at insurance because they think it's just about lost luggage. Nope, not this one. This question is about if something happens, can you handle it without turning your trip into a financial emergency or a complicated situation for the country you're entering. In some places, this is a real rule, not a suggestion. If you're applying for a Schengen visa, do you know what the requirement is? Travel medical coverage of at least 30,000 euros before they even hand you that visa sticker. Cuba can be like that, too. You may be asked to show proof of medical insurance at entry. And if you're flying from the US, it may already be bundled into your ticket on some airlines. American Airlines, for example, notes an insurance fee added to the ticket price. So, it's not the kind of thing you want to figure out later in the arrivals hall. And travel insurance really is that boring little document. But do you know how much that insurance can rescue your trip? Imagine this happening to you. It's day 2 of your trip. You're slipping on a wet hotel bathroom floor and you're sitting in a clinic lobby in a foreign country. Then the numbers start stacking. An X-ray, a brace, maybe a CT scan just to be safe. What looked like a minor accident can turn into a bill in the thousands of dollars. And in some places, they want it up front. In that moment, I'll probably be fine. Stop sounding optimistic and start sounding very expensive. So, make this easy on yourself. Save your insurance card or proof of coverage as an offline PDF and have the emergency phone number easy to find. If you have pre-existing conditions, it's worth knowing whether your plan includes them or has rules, because that's where people get surprised. If they ask, your answer is simple. Yes, here's my proof of coverage. Then you show the screen and let them read. And even when nobody asks, having it is one of those quiet senior pro moves. It keeps small problems small, so your trip stays about family, food, and photos, not clinics and paperwork. If you stay to the end, you're already more prepared than most. And if you noticed a pattern, it's because everything at the counter boils down to the same few ideas. They're checking who you are, why you're here, where you'll be sleeping, when you're leaving, and what you're bringing in. So, before your next international flight, do yourself a favor. Make that simple trip sheet in big print. Pack your medication in a way that's easy to explain and have a clear proof of exit and insurance document ready to show. If this video helped you feel even a little more confident, hit like so more travelers see it and subscribe for more senior-friendly flying tips. And I really want to hear from you. What's the weirdest or toughest question you've ever been asked at immigration or customs? And where was it? Drop it in the comments. I read them and your story might save someone else. Safe travels and I'll see you in the next one.